It's a terrible association. So these guys are playing. They want to get one W at some point or another. We'll see. But let's jump ahead forward. We really have about 10 minutes left in the show. So let's get as quickly as we can to those 4 o'clock lineups and talk to me about how you break down and approach these 4 o'clock lineups, especially that 4 o'clock express with the Oakland, San Diego, New England, Denver games.
Well, the Oakland, the 4:25 express game.
If we're ready, I know I'm jumping us ahead, but I'm watching that clock.
Yeah, no, I'm ready. I mean, it's kind of an easy breakdown. We've already talked about the guys per se. When you look at the quarterbacks, this brings me to either Derek Carr or Phillip Rivers. So, given that, I think you might want to start a lineup with each one. I mean, you're talking about where it's just New England, Denver, and just Oakland, San Diego, correct?
That's correct. That's the 4:25 Express, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know how I feel about Phillip Rivers. I think that he was a solid play. Then I think we get to, we should just maybe run down the entire lineup real quick.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because it's kind of easy to make. Your running backs, LeGarrette Blount, maybe Latavius Murray, I guess.
Okay. I like Murray.
Yeah, your only other choice would be that Kenneth Farrell that we talked about, and I just has reservations with, they give him some hesitation. He's not liking the passing.
I'm not having it.
Yeah,
I talked myself out of it.
Yeah, so who else is there in this? Maybe Dion Lewis, but again, now you're going to have a timeshare.
Can't do it.
No, so I'm going LeGarrette Blount and Latavius Murray. Goal line carries for Blount. That's all. Latavius Murray, I guess we could go maybe Jalen Richard.
Richard, yeah, that's a possibility. He is a snake, and he does like to. He can get those touches. He's not going to get 25 a game. I like Murray in that whole play.
Okay, so then there we go. So we got Blount and Murray. So we're done. Now we're at wide receivers, and gosh, like you said, I'm taking your word on Amari Cooper.
Scary.
We got the money to do it. Then, like I said, I might do Tyrell Williams.
Okay.
And then Emmanuel Sanders. And then I'll do a different lineup where I would rotate Dontrell Inman, and I like him in the lineup. You know what? I'm going to take Tyrell Williams out and put Dontrell Inman in.
Somebody's got to score.
Cooper, Inman, and Sanders is who I got.
Okay. Yeah, and you're right. Looking at these 425, this Express lineup, it's only 2 games, 4 teams. It's really tricky, actually. The temptation to go with some cheaper players up top and low, because there's some good receivers in these games. This is a tricky play.
You don't need to. You can pretty much do what you want if none of the guys are so high value that you're going to be left broke.
A lot of it is the Belichickian factor. Who is he going to throw the ball to? Who is Josh McDaniels going to dial up? I don't want anything to do with anybody. What's killing me is the Patriot receivers against that Denver defense, and I keep in the back of my head, it's giving me pause because I know that my 11-2 family fantasy football league season is hanging in the balance of whether or not Tom Brady's going to throw 3 touchdowns or LeGarrette Blount's going to just trot a couple in. I'm scared, all right?
I could see the overall Denver defense Denver offense, having some problems as well. So you could see a 21-17 game.
I really can. Denver's offense, they need a quarterback. I think Trevor Siemian is a nice backup.
Yeah, it basically means there's viable skill positions, but maybe you're not going to see the fireworks from the quarterbacks.
You may not. You almost really need to start a Chris Hogan. They're going to get him in the slot. They're going to get him off of Aqib Talib, off of Chris. What the hell is the other corner's name? Chris Harris.
Chris Harris is one, and then they have the.
It's Talib on one side, who is gangster as it gets, and then his buddy, the other guy on the other side. Anyhow, look, they got a great secondary in Denver. We know this TJ Ward's a thumper. That team can play up and down in the secondary. Scares me to start New England wide receivers on the road. If this game were in Foxborough, I would feel a lot differently about it. But in Denver, it's loud. The altitude's a little different. It's a lot different. Yeah, just gives me some pause, man. But rattle off what you got. I hear the sirens sweetly singing, and we're getting close to shutting it down. But let's finish it up.
Man, well, I'm going to take your advice with Antonio Gates at tight end because it's either him or Martellus Bennett. Martellus Bennett's questionable.
Yeah.
He's limited. Obviously, even if he does play, he did well in Baltimore, so I want to monitor that. So Bennett, or I don't want to say be cheesy like that, but since I'm doing Rivers, I guess I'll go with Antonio Gates. But I can afford Martellus Bennett. He's only $200 more.
Right.
I got $14,300 remaining for both my kicker and my defense. I could get 2 kickers in the defense. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
I think the defense is a pretty easy choice.
Yeah, I think I would go with.
I think you have to go with the Oakland defense.
I was just going to say that. Okay, yeah, because I hope you weren't referring to.
Denver and New England are just not.
No, in our other league, I had to make some moves and pick up a different defense because of that. I think, that same thing that's going to, I just don't think Brady makes mistakes.
He doesn't. Certainly not as often as Phillip Rivers has.
No, yeah. I agree.
And I think that's the determining factor there. Just like with a lot of receivers, I don't like taking receivers with bad quarterbacks, which is why guys like Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders scare me in this lineup. I am going to force some things out. I'd like to read my my play lineup to you.
Okay.
If I can, and then we actually got to close it out. I ended up with Derek Carr, Latavius Murray, LeGarrette Blount. I am starting Amari Cooper, but I'm going to closely monitor that shoulder injury. He comes out. You got to go back to Crabtree, closely monitor his. You got plenty of money to work in these short lineups. So I like Terrell Williams. He's going to probably pop one over the top for the Chargers. I like Chris Hogan, thinking that he's going to be the odd man to get the ball. Martellus Bennett does fit in there. Again, watch that injury concern. You're going to go with either one of the Polish Pistols as far as the kickers go with Gostkowski or Sebastian Janikowski. I really like Steven Gostkowski in Denver just because of the potential that you might see a 60-yarder.
Yeah, I agree, and that's the type of game where they rely on him more. He's obviously quiet when they score touchdowns, but I don't think they're going to score a lot of touchdowns against Denver. No,
but he could hit 3. He's actually, as far as this position goes, this might be your must-start player. Just because he's in Mile High. What happens if they ask him? They'll throw him the task of kicking 3 49-yarders. It's worth every penny on Fan Duel when you got to kick 40 and 50-yard field goals. So at Mile High, they don't come easy, but they do come often. That's where I'm at, man. That's where I stand on that team, that field, that 4 o'clock, that 4:30. The Line Sports Talk podcast. I'm out of gas, buddy. What do you say?
You sound like a winner on that one, my man.
Yes, sir. I think we do. And again, to all our friends out there that like to tune in, listen, hopefully go pick some lineups. Got some good reports back from some folks. One guy called me an idiot, but thanked me because I did help him out. I took a little 50-50 beating on Twitter from one of the listeners, which I'm just happy he's listening, commenting, and he still won $25 on the day. What does he want from me? Russell Wilson wasn't anybody's fault.
Hey, man, come on. It
wasn't anybody's fault, but I liked it too, pal. There was nothing to it. So all those things said and done, my friend, we have emptied the tank once again. I want to say that this might be our 65th episode of the Line Sports Talk podcast. 65 published episodes. Yeah, nothing to sneeze at, man. And we're growing and we're getting better. We want to continue to get your feedback from all our favorite listeners out there that like to contribute on Twitter, on Spreaker, the chat room. And the question that I want to ask everybody out there is, if we can start setting this up to go live, would you like to hang out in the chat room? Would you like to call in? Would you like to ask questions? Would you like to hear my opinion, hear Harbor Mike's opinion? I know everybody wants Joey Peep's opinion. So kick it all around, folks. Answer us. Check us out on Twitter at TL317. You can visit Joey Peeps at Joey's Big Mouth on Twitter. You can see us on Facebook at the Line Sports Talk Podcast. check us out. See what you say. Thanks for listening. Harper Mike, thanks again, my friend. Everybody have a great night. And one last thing, quick rest in peace to Craig Sager. The flamboyant, the colorful, the kind-hearted. Mike, I don't know if you're familiar with him from TNT, NBA.
Kind of. I mean, I knew who he was. Yeah, I don't follow basketball, but I knew he was.
Yeah.
He's pretty iconic.
I met him years ago at a Tampa Bay Rays ALCS, American League Championship Series game in 2008. And he was actually in the bar after the game. We walked downstairs in the bar, and he was standing there. And I talked to him for 10 minutes. Super nice guy, courteous, polite, took pictures with everybody, just standing there having a big water and laughing and talking to everybody. And I did not know at the time that he was sick. I don't know if he was diagnosed or not in 2008. But super nice guy, and the sports world wishes him and his family all the best. That's a tough one. So all the best to Craig Sager's family. Thanks for listening, guys. Enough's enough. See you on the flip side.